All right, guys, what a week it's been. I mean, every time I talk to someone, they keep joking. They're like, it's been 2 months of Trump, but it feels like 2 years. I think it's been like 3 years, but who knows? I'm not really sure how we're calibrating, but it never stops. Think about everything that happened this week, right? It's the Kennedy Center, the call with Putin, the JFK files. And then, by the way, Chuck Schumer just falling on his face, the canceling the book tour, getting pummeled by every single Democrat out there. I mean, it's embarrassing to see this guy get emasculated the way he has. It's Friday, and I thought I'd have a little fun. So before we get going, I want to take a walk down memory lane. If you listen to Democrats these days about Trump and what they're doing on a whole host of issues, they talk about Donald Trump and his team being an affront to democracy, to our Constitution, to our very way of life. We are dismantling it, they say. But fortunately for all of you, maybe not for them, I have access to this little thing called the internet. Based on the fight that Democrats have put together just on the front with respect to deportation of people that are in this country illegally, who have broken our laws, I started to wonder if this was just a Trump thing. The Democrats just maybe didn't like Donald Trump, that they used to maybe be okay with certain things, but not now. I mean, have they always supported illegal immigrants? Let's think. Have Clinton, Biden, Obama, and Clinton maybe had a different position? I don't know. Let's take a look.
In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes.
Senator Biden, yes or no, would you allow the cities to ignore the federal law?
No.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked.
Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous.
In most worlds, they call that hypocrisy. The Democrats who suddenly now are outraged about Donald Trump, all of them, those are their leaders. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, either they're presidents or they're nominees for president, all being very clear about the position that we should be taking. It's only when Donald Trump actually executes on that do they suddenly have a problem, don't they? They had no problem talking the talk. Their party said nothing. And yet here we are, going against Donald Trump every day because he's actually executing on something that they said they did. I promise that they didn't keep, that he is. It's fascinating. So that's where they stand on deportation of people in this country illegally. But the other big issue that Democrats have these days is DOGE, cutting out waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, I started to say the same thing. I wonder if Democrats actually have always been so against actually being respectful of taxpayers. If they not really wanted to get rid of waste in the past, or again, like deportation, is this a Donald Trump thing? So I started to think about this. What if people like, I don't know, President Obama said about waste, fraud, and abuse? Take a look.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody. We're calling it the campaign to cut waste.
There's been a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government during the Biden administration, which estimated the federal government fraud to be $500 billion. What we're trying to do is get that number down to a much smaller figure, save money for the American taxpayer, stop money being spent on things that I think very few taxpayers would agree make sense. Transgender animal surgeries. Or why are the 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database?
You notice when Obama did it, the campaign to cut waste, it was a good idea. When Donald Trump and Elon Musk do it, it's a bad idea. It's funny. He asked some pretty common sense questions. Why are people who are 150 years old on the Social Security rolls? Why? That's not a Republican thing. That's not a Democratic thing. Why do they join us in liking this effort? It's because their hatred of Donald Trump overcomes everything else. It's amazing, isn't it? When Elon says it and executes on it, it's a bad thing. when President Obama says it, but actually doesn't execute on it, it's an okay thing. Think about that for a second. They always talk the talk. They never walk the walk. They never get results, but that's okay. When Donald Trump does it and actually executes on it, well, that's the problem. Maybe because they've always known for decades that no one's actually going to do it, and all of these leftist progressive ideas are never going to get touched. They can talk a good game and never have to worry about cutting out all of their buddies who are reaping the benefits from them. But look, that was Obama. He was maybe not the most recent guy. What did, say, Joe Biden think about waste? Maybe in the realm of entitlement, somewhere that the Democrats are very clear we can't touch, right? To them, that's a third rail. You can't possibly touch them. So I wonder what Joe Biden had to say about that.
Everybody also agrees, I got from this morning, but I think we had before, that we waste a heck of a lot of money, and that somewhere around a third of all the dollars we spend on Medicare goes for nothing useful. We're not cutting Medicare benefits in this. We're trying to eliminate the third of the problem that's a waste, and this is a big entitlement. It's a big entitlement. Medicare, it exists. We got to figure out how to keep it from bankrupting the country without denying seniors what they're entitled to.
Okay, so you might say to yourself, well, Sean, both of those guys are out of the picture. So how about some of the leading Democrats still in office? You know, the ones who have the loudest voices, that are the biggest haters of Doge, Elon, and Trump. I mean, let's think about this. Maybe let's get the take of the queen of insider trading, Nancy Pelosi, the socialist in chief, Bernie Sanders, or the Senate Democratic leader whose book tour just got canceled, Chucky Schumer. What did they think of these efforts to cut waste, fraud, and abuse in the government? Let's look.
We simply must make the cuts in waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare. We owe it to our country.
There is an enormous amount of waste and fraud and abuse in this government. When there is waste and fraud, you have an administration who should also be on top of that situation.
If we're going to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare, it does mean we're going to cut some of that out. We want to cut the bad stuff and keep the good stuff.
You get that? We must do it. We must do it. It makes sense. Well, at least it did, didn't it? It's so funny how these same people, do they not see themselves? Do they not see these clips on the internet? I get they're all really old. I mean, think about it. They probably don't need someone to show them the clips, but somebody should. These are their words. They didn't just support it. Nancy Pelosi said, we must do it. We owe it to people to do it. You heard them. It's just funny because the media won't play those clips, so I do. Because it is unbelievably hypocritical for them, all of them, to say these things about what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are trying to do. It got me thinking, and this is just a maybe. Just maybe it's really not about cutting waste. Maybe it's not about doing the right thing. Maybe it's just about politics.
Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.